Hi friends and subscribers, and welcome to my very first video of 2025. So I did say that I was going to do some Star Trek related videos. So in this video I'm going to rank the first 6 Star Trek movies. So the Star Trek movies with the original cast, from motion picture up to The Undiscovered Country. Now before I start, like I do at the beginning of every ranking video, the ranking is based on my opinion only. There's no right or wrong. It's just my personal preference, the order that I prefer them in. I shouldn't have to say that at the beginning of these videos, but there's a lot of people out there who just cannot get past difference of opinion. So I feel that because of that, I just feel that I have to say this. So yeah, I'm going to be showing the discs as I rank them because I've got them on this box set, so they don't have individual cases. So coming at the bottom at number 6, I like all these films. I enjoy all of these, but I've got to rank them. So coming in at number 6, it's the first film, the motion picture. Now I like the motion picture. It has a good story. My only problem with the film is that it's just a bit too slow paced for my liking. It would have worked better as a TV episode, but as a movie, as a Star Trek movie, it's just too slow paced. When I'm watching a Star Trek movie, I expect them to be more action packed, but this one just doesn't offer that. But I do like the film. And the supporting characters are good as well. Captain Decker's pretty good. But yeah, I think the sequels are better. But yeah, Motion Picture's still a good film. Just it's my least favourite of the original films. Number 5 is Star Trek V: The Final Frontier. A lot of people like to bash this film, but I love it, really. I think it is better than its reputation. It's got some really good moments in it. There's the scene when Kirk, Spock, and McCoy are sitting around the campfire. And, yeah, Kirk and McCoy are singing "Row, row, row your boat," and Spock's like, "I'm trying to comprehend the meaning of the words." Yeah, it's funny. I always thought it was funny. And the scene where Scotty bangs his head on the low door frame after saying, "I know this ship like the back of my hand," and then he falls. It's because it's the new Enterprise. It's not the same Enterprise from the previous films. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and Cyborg, not one of the best Star Trek villains. He's not. I wouldn't really say he's a villain. I'd say he's more of an anti-hero. But yeah, I do like this film. I don't think it's that bad at all, and it's directed by William Shatner, and I don't think he does that bad a job. And at number 4 is the last movie, Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country. So this was the last film with the original cast, and this is an excellent film. I mean, what a fantastic send off for these characters. And the story is excellent. With Starfleet trying to like end the hostility between the Federation and the Klingons. And the Supreme Chancellor, Klingon Chancellor Gorkin is killed, and Kirk is the one who is accused, and they assume it's Kirk because Kirk still doesn't trust the Klingons because of what they did to his son. But it wasn't like the whole Klingon race that killed his son. It was just one Klingon. So he's basically blaming the entire Klingon race for the actions of one Klingon. And yeah, you can kind of understand why Kirk is hateful towards them. But yeah, it is kind of like a political movie. You know, at the time this film came out, this came out when the Cold War was coming to an end. So the, you know, the conflict between Starfleet and the, you know, between the Federation and the Klingons is like the conflict between the United States and the Soviet Union. So yeah, but it's an excellent movie. So that's my number 4. And number 3, I know a lot of people would choose this as their number 1 because it's, and yeah, I agree that it's an excellent, excellent movie. But for me, it's number 3. It is Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. And yeah, I love Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. It's a classic for a reason. I agree with everything that's said about it. Khan is just an excellent, excellent villain. You're probably one of the best Star Trek villains of all time. You know, he tries to get revenge on Kirk for marooning him on SETI Alpha 5. And Spock's sacrifice at the end, it's still impactful, you know, at that time. So yeah, it's just such an excellent movie. It's action packed. It just has a fantastic story, and Kirk's, William Shatner's acting in this film. I mean, say what you will about William Shatner's acting, but he is excellent in this movie, especially with Kirk basically coming to terms with the fact that he's not invincible, that he's not getting any younger, and that he's not going to be around forever. And William Shatner was in his 50s at the time this film was made. But yeah, I love this film. It's just excellent. And number 2 is Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock. I love Star Trek 3. I like it just I always liked it just a tad more than Star Trek 2, to be honest. It's got, of course, this one has Christopher Lloyd playing Klingon Commander Krug, and this was before he went on to appear in Back to the Future. And yeah, I just love the plot of this movie. And this was the movie where Kirk's son gets killed. And yeah, in this film you find out Spock used the mind meld just before Spock sacrificed himself at the end of Star Trek 2. He put all of his memory into McCoy. And yeah, Spock is obviously brought back to life in this movie. He's resurrected by Genesis, and yeah, it's just fantastic. And they also lose the Enterprise in this movie. The Enterprise gets destroyed. I mean, in other Star Trek movies, we've seen the Enterprise destroyed, but in other movies, it's not that impactful as it is in this one. I mean, at the time, it was a big deal because that was the original Enterprise. You know, that was the Enterprise we saw in the original series. Obviously, it had been with a refit and it had been redecorated, but it was still the same ship. But yeah, it's just a great film. You know, Kirk, you know, committing mutiny, you know, disobeying the Starfleet orders to save his friend. It's just wonderful. And then number 1, this one's got to be it for me. It's Star Trek 4: The Voyage Home. I've just always loved this movie because it's not like any other Star Trek movie. Most of the film is set on Earth in San Francisco in 1986. That's when the film came out, and it's actually set in 1986. And yeah, it doesn't feel like a sci-fi movie. It feels like a typical 80s comedy. That's why I love it, because you know, you've got Kirk and Spock, you know, they're all from the 23rd century, and they're basically trying to blend in with the 20th century. Especially the scene where Kirk goes into an antique shop to pawn his his antique reading glasses, because they need money, basically, because they don't use money in the 23rd century. And then the guy down the counter says, "I'll give you $100 for them," and Kirk's like, "Is that a lot?" And yeah, and basically Spock repeating like bad language, like yeah, Kirk walks in front of a taxi cab. The taxi driver, watch where you're going, you dumbass. And Kirk's like, double dumbass on you. And then Spock's trying to like comprehend the meaning of, why humans use bad language. But yeah, I love this film. It's just an excellent 80s film, and I think it was what the Star Trek franchise needed after the previous two films, which were very dark, and the stakes were very high in those films, and this one was very light-hearted, and I think that's what the franchise needed after the previous two films. So yeah, I love this film. It's a lot of fun. So that is my ranking of the original cast Star Trek movies. The next one I'm going to be doing is the Next Generation films. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Take care.